ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Midday Market Report with good friends and colleagues, Mr. Matt Grissom, Quentin Mills, NCAA Insiders year number 4. Every year before the regionals start, I say this, and every year when I come back to recap the regionals to get to the supers, I'm like, holy cow. And this year, like none other. I mean, carnage everywhere. Number 1 goes down, UCLA. Number 2 goes down, Georgia Tech. And what a rambling wreck it was. I mean, and the list is endless here. Today's headline, carnage at the NCAA regionals. Who's in the driver's seat for the supers? And Omaha, that's right, Omaha. Next week, the boys will be heading there. So first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play. Download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, myself, Amber, Holly, Carol, Bucks. The list is endless. Download the app. Head on over to X and join us at WagerWire and join the community. And while you're there, head to wagerwire.com/marketplace and take a look at all the tickets for sale as well. Atlanta Steaks and Seafood.com. Use the promo code GRILL10 and Terry Smith will take care of you. 10% off your order. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, wine. No one does it better than Terry Smith and Atlanta Steaks and Seafood.com. And our newest partnership, I am super stoked for wagerbird.com. Blaine and Maya have been incredible. I've been working on the platform for the last couple of weeks, getting to know it. Next week, we will introduce Blaine here on Tuesday or Wednesday morning so he can walk us through that platform, taking wagering and sports investing to another level, what I've been talking about for 10 plus years. So stay tuned on that. So without further ado, let's bring him in, Mr. Matt Grissom and Quentin Mills. What's up, boys?
Total chaos.
Yeah. Silver lining, Florida just got a massive commitment, so that eases the blow. But I'd rather the boys be playing ball than worry about recruiting, is what it is.
It doesn't ease my portfolio, but we'll get to that. Listen, guys, we do all the work. We were talking in January before the guide comes out. Valentine's Day, the first week of the long season. UCLA boxed the wire. Here comes Georgia Tech. And the number 1, number 2 seeds, presto bango, see you wouldn't want to be at UCLA. 2 losses to St. Mary's. And I could have seen maybe St. Mary's in basketball beating the Bruins, but not in baseball. But we talked about them chewing their food. And there was nothing there from the Bruins side that even after their first stunning loss, that the offense would wake up, the pitching would bear down, and hey guys, we got to win 4 or 5 in a row to get to the super regionals. Matt, I know you're not surprised, right?
I'm surprised about Georgia Tech. UCLA didn't really surprise me. I really thought Tech had, even if their pitching had issues, I thought their offense would carry them through. So I think that was probably the most shocking event that transpired over the past weekend.
Q?
We called UCLA not surprised. I really wasn't as surprised as Matt on Georgia Tech. It was the pitching. That was a concern for me preseason that kind of came to fruition. I will say this. All season long, they were telling me I was a liar. So I will say I was surprised for the sudden drop-off because they did pitch so well all season long. I would say Florida was up there. I thought Arkansas was a lock as well as they were playing. I thought they would march right into Lawrence. That was probably the best team Kansas has played, and it just didn't pan out like that. So I would say those were a couple of my biggest surprises.
And we talked backstage, Matt, and I got to give you your due here because I had Arkansas moving on in that bracket, and you lose a tough, hard-fought battle, but you dust it off, and you talked about Kansas hosting the crowd. They weren't as pleasant. They were a little overzealous, I guess you could say. Stings, but it wasn't from a lack of effort, I think. Correct?
Yeah, the pitching really reared its ugly head again. We thought maybe when you move Dietz back into that Friday night spot, and then you have Gackle, who kind of struggled early on in the season as the ace. You didn't really have a solidified game 3 starter. There was some writing on the wall that maybe this team had kind of limped in there, but then they make the run through the SEC tournament, and you're kind of thinking, okay, maybe they've got it figured out. DeCremer was coming out of the pen, and he looked good through the SEC tournament. Coyle had kind of settled down. And so there were pieces there, and then ultimately, I mean, when you've got to try to fight to get, 4 or 5 games in over a weekend, at that point, I was telling people they lost the super regional that Saturday or Friday night. Behind Dietz's 14 strikeout game, you've got to do more damage than that. And I mean, all the credit in the world to Kansas. They pitched really well, despite having the stats to say that they wouldn't. Arkansas bats just kind of went back to what they were earlier in the season, where it was a lot of swing and miss, a lot of pop-ups, ground outs, and you can't do that when an offense is so hot like Kansas.
I take pride in my work. I take pride in peeling the onion layers back. I said backstage, if you go 2-0 in the regionals, you advance 80+%. It's like 81.9% of the times. I'm holding a Florida ticket, not just for the regionals, but to get to Omaha. And we had them at 35-1 a Friday ago. They closed at 19-1. I'm holding a Kentucky +450 to win the regionals. They start 2-0, and then Bedlam and Morgantown up 9-6, 9th inning. They give up 5, and then play them again on Monday, down 5-1, tie it once it went into extras. Q, I'll start with you in Florida. 2-0, and of all teams, were you more surprised that you lost the regionals, or was Troy?
I was a little nervous at Troy. They'd been trying to get in the tournament the last few years. They finally got in. I thought they were going to be a little tired, but like we talked about backstage, and this is the same for Arkansas, Florida can hit a Jackson Flora, a Rhett Lauder, a Paul Skeens with the best of them, right? That they're up for the challenge, and they're able to rake. You put an 88 to 90 mile an hour fastball from a kid who's probably got like a 3/4 slot. He's already thrown 177 pitches within the last 2 days, and he turns into Paul Skeens. Through, the guy has probably 6 innings total all season, and he just goes 6 shutty against you. Like, it's just that's Florida Gators baseball, and I was actually hoping that we faced Miami because they're going to help us out defensively with all their errors. But Troy was motivated, and credit to Skylar Meade for those guys getting there and not only getting there, but handling business from the losers bracket. And right now they went from the losers bracket to hosting a super regional within 2 days, which is insane. But nonetheless, that's Florida baseball. It sucks. I smashed my head on a wall, but I'll tell you what, in January, the team, the fall report's going to be like, boys, they could get it this year. And it's just, what's the definition of insanity? You know what I mean? Like, I'm right there, and I'll be there in a few months. So it is what it is. That's sports for you.
The definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Different results. No, I get it. Matt, take me to Morgantown. Take me to put yourself in my shoes, holding that plus 450. 2-0, up 9-6 in the ninth, and then the shitstorm in Morgantown.
Yeah, West Virginia has been good. I thought they would come out of this. I thought Wake would probably finish second, and then it couldn't have been more opposite. Kentucky showed up, they showed out, and unfortunately, you play West Virginia in a 3-game series essentially to close it out, and they were just a little bit better. In Kentucky, their whole bugaboo all season was that they couldn't win the series. They never got swept. That's what Mingione liked to beat his chest about. But you end up, you need a series win, and they couldn't get it. Hats off to West Virginia, man. They're playing well, and now it lined up perfectly for them. And same really for Kansas. I mean, not to discredit Oklahoma for winning that, but here we are looking at the 15, 16 seeds saying, their draw was brutal. West Virginia is going to have to go out to Los Angeles, and then Kansas or Arkansas, whoever, was going to have to go up against the gauntlet of Georgia Tech. And then lo and behold, the 2 short shots as we enter regionals are gone. So it is wild. But yeah, I hate that for you and the Kentucky Wildcats, because they were every bit as into it, just couldn't get it done down the stretch.
Before we get to the matchups in the regionals, I'm on DraftKings right now. I'm going to go over the current updated odds to win the World Series. North Carolina plus 370, Texas plus 400, Georgia plus 475, Mississippi State now plus 550, Auburn plus 550. Here's the fescue, the snake in the grass, West Virginia at plus 1,000. Then it goes Bama 1,600, USC 1,900. Ole Miss at 2,000, Kansas 2,500, Ducks at 2,800, Oklahoma 3,500, Troy 4,500, Cal Poly 15,000, Little Rock 25,000, and I haven't mentioned them. Hats off to the Big East, and it wasn't UConn, St. John's, the shocker of another shocker, plus 30,000. Q, I'll start with you. Anything jump off the board there?
This is an upset alert. I think Ole Miss has some value. I think they're on the easier side of the bracket. UNC, Matt and I have seen them out there before. They had really good pitching when their offense is falling apart. They don't have as talented of an offense this year as the year we saw them in 2024. It's not bad, but if that happens again, I think Ole Miss is playing fantastic baseball. I'm getting 2022 vibes. Hunter Elliott's on the team. Remember, he was the guy that won the game in 2022 to win the College World Series. Taylor Rabe, Cade Townsend have pitched lights out the last probably month of the season. The bats are starting to go. I mean, you have Dom Decker. He's been there. He was with Murray State last year. Trista Bassetta. They have so many guys that can hit the ball in a timely manner that I think Ole Miss is live here. I think it lines up against Auburn. Auburn's offense is hit or miss. If Ole Miss plays hot, they could certainly move forward. West Virginia, again, the offense, we've seen them kind of fade off, but we also know they have pitching. Kind of a new team. If they get there, do they kind of fall victim to the moment of Omaha? Potentially. So when I look at a team for value, I think Ole Miss is live there. My 2 short shots would be UNC and Georgia to round that out.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm with him. I think right now Georgia is probably your best value short shot, and then Ole Miss right there at second. They could face each other, so you could potentially hedge out as long as you get one of them there. But like Q said, Ole Miss, I think if they can get through Auburn, and that's kind of the big if. I would say, I know you were looking at Ole Miss to win the Super Regional. if you like Ole Miss to win the Super, I would just bet them to win it all. Because if they get past Auburn and they're sitting there in Omaha and it's, say, North Carolina, Troy, and West Virginia, I would feel really good about having the SEC team on that side. Whereas, Mississippi State, Georgia on the other side, Texas on the other side, Alabama on the other side, Oklahoma on the other side. Not to say that, it's SEC or nothing, but the trend would also tell you that it's probably going to be an SEC champion. Yeah. But if you notice all the teams that are here in Supers, they all had a solidified three-man rotation all season long. It was the same three guys that started 90% of the games or more. And I think at the end of the day, you look back and you think, all right, maybe there is something here to this pitching, because it's going to, even when you get to Omaha, it's going to matter more. But even through the super regionals of trying to force a game 3 and trotting somebody out there that you trust, that's going to be critical. And so when you look across the field and you see Ole Miss and Auburn, two of the best pitching staffs on that side of the bracket, and then North Carolina right behind them, it's probably one of those 3 teams that's making it to the championship.
Let's walk right down memory lane here. We got the super regionals pulled up on DraftKings. North Carolina minus 280, USC plus 210. I'll stick with you, Matt. Thoughts on that series?
Yeah, this is compelling because I think USC could make some noise. I think if Mason Edwards goes game 1 against DeCaro, I think it's still a USC pitching advantage. If they could steal game 1, this is going to flip so fast. And then I think at that point, that's when you take North Carolina to still win it. Last year, North Carolina, jokingly, I put North Carolina to Omaha Sharpie because they beat Arizona like 20-2 or something like that. Yeah. I think that could be opposite for North Carolina. I could see them dropping game 1 and then winning game 2 and game 3.
Q?
I don't hate that. I think North Carolina I think they handle business earlier rather than later. I think this is bulletin board material that Scott Forbes has put on the locker of maybe Matt's tweet or the score or something to that effect. Like, boys, you came into the same spot last year against a West Coast team. You beat the piss out of them the first game 15-2, and then we got sent packing. By Sunday, we were unloading our lockers. We're not doing this again for the back-to-back year. So I think you use that to your advantage of like, hey, we're not letting the West Coast control our destiny anymore. Let's go win and let's go show them that, we are serious in Chapel Hill and let's get back since 2024. So I think they get it done earlier than later.
Next one, Troy minus 350, Little Rock plus 260 Q.
Matt will probably know more about Little Rock than me, but I think Troy's playing such hot baseball right now that the way that it's flipped, it's gone from the losers bracket to now you're hosting, right? And you could barely even get in a tournament. You're one of the last teams in after feeling snubbed the last 2 or 3 years. The momentum is so high right now in the state of Alabama for Troy. I just can't see how they don't advance, especially at home. Ben Stubbs pitched amazing. Hayden Smith, like all these guys you probably never heard of if you don't follow mid-major baseball, they're studs. And no disrespect to Little Rock. I just think Troy is a much better team heading into this point in the season right now.
Matt?
Yeah, I think Little Rock plus 260 is compelling. I think a 4 seed makes it back, and I don't give much chance to Cal Poly. Cal Poly may even be a 3. So I think Little Rock may be the last 4 seed left. We saw it last year with Murray State. Feel like Curry's got his guys playing some of their best baseball. They're 9-1 over their last 10. As hot as Troy's been, they're 7-3. And then Brandon Westmoreland, I think, could be the difference maker in getting game 1. He's got a better xFIP, better Sierra than Benjamin Stubbs does. So I roll the dice and take Little Rock, and if you can try to hedge out on a game by game basis. I don't know what they are for game 1. I guess I could look at the line. But I did take them plus 2.5 on the run line. They're plus 190 to win game 1.
Auburn, the Auburn Super Regional, Auburn minus 195, Ole Miss plus 155. Again, a little stenchy on I think that number is a little short. Enticing Auburn. Matt, thoughts there?
Yeah, this is a series we didn't see in the SEC regular season. Ole Miss has been playing really well. They've been here before. Auburn, most notably, dropped their Super Regional last year against Coastal Carolina, which is why Chanticleers made it. I don't think Auburn does it again. I think we're between Marciano, Petrovic, and Alvarez. I think they've got a solid three-man rotation. The most compelling thing, though, is going to be the game by game, because if it's Hunter Elliott versus Andreas Alvarez, it's advantage Auburn. But if they throw a Cade Townsend or Taylor Rabe, it actually flips more to like 50-50 in game one. And I don't know what the stat is, but I feel like when you win game one, you really put yourself in a position to move on. So that's going to be something to monitor. Ole Miss is plus 140 in game one, Auburn minus 180, plus 1.5 for Ole Miss. I don't hate that on the run line. This is going to be this is going to be an MLB type game. I don't think you're going to get like a 12-10 type game. It's going to be 5-4, 5-3, 4-3, something in that ballpark. I think the two teams' pitching staffs are so good, and they're both going to sell out to try to take that game one if it's close. So I would expect the best starter going for both teams, and then your best bullpen arm out of that.
You mean there's not going to be back-to-back homers and 22 runs and people?
I say that, and it probably will, but
it'd be a barn burner.
I think this is going to be under 11 type game.
Q, follow up Auburn and Ole Miss.
I took Ole Miss plus 1.5. I got them at minus 120. I do think Matt's right. It is going to be a lower scoring game, a tighter game. Listen, regional play is so far, or so different than anything you play in the season, right? You have a potential to play 5-6 games. You're throwing guys out there that teams have never even seen before. Some guys have pitched less than 10 innings in a year. Then you go to supers, and it's like a weekend series. So these teams know how they're going to pitch. They know their rotations all season long. So now they're going back to the way they're comfortable with playing baseball. Your Friday night starter to your Friday night bullpen guys, whatever you've been doing all season long that's worked, you're going back to that rotation for the most part. So I think both these teams kind of settle in, and all the barrage of home runs that we saw last weekend is going to kind of start to simmer down.
They did series prices last year, didn't they? A spread, like minus 1.5 games.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do that again.
I don't know.
Or if it'll go 3.
They did that, yeah. The 2-0 or the 3, yeah.
Probably in Omaha, Matt.
The exacta series price, though, because you don't get that in Omaha.
No.
Only in the national championship.
The stench, I think, of all the brackets right here is Georgia minus 150, Mississippi State plus 120. Here again, it is a Georgia team that when we set up the initial brackets, or at least I did, it was the winner of Georgia Tech was going to represent one of the sides here. Here, Georgia Tech's gone. And here, to win the World Series, Georgia is now plus 475. They're behind North Carolina and Texas. And here comes Mississippi State, who's plus 550, by the way. Only Georgia minus 150, Mississippi State plus 120. I have a Georgia to win it all ticket. I am probably going to have some hedge money on Mississippi State plus 120. It smells to me.
Yeah, this is the series we saw in the regular season. Game 1 was 10-9. Game 2 was 1-3. Game 3 was 5-8. So it was competitive. It was in Starkville. So that was a big sweep by Georgia. I just think ultimately if this is Wes Johnson's year, like it's got everything has lined up well for them, including getting Georgia Tech out of there, who beat them in the midweek during the regular season. I think it sets up really well for them to get there and go 2-0. and be waiting on the winner that faces them. I think Georgia at this point, they're kind of like the team of destiny this year. I'll be shocked if they don't get to Omaha. But it is tough to beat a team. Now you're going to ask them to beat them, 5 times in one season. So I've got to stick with Georgia. I have no money on Mississippi State in any way. So I have quite a bit on Georgia at this point. So I'm just going to roll with the dogs.
Q?
I think it's the same. Everything Georgia's, as much as I hate to admit it, I think Georgia's, like he said, they're the team to beat right now. They're the team that just everything's going right. Trey Phelps being suspended, to me, they somehow figure out a way to win game 1 without him, right? That's just kind of the season they've had. Everything's clicking from the pitching to the coaching decisions to, the lineup. Everybody's hitting the ball. And right now, I think it's their year. I think they get the national title and we look back on it and we, here go Dogs go, or whatever they say down there in Athens. It pains me to say.
That was my biggest question mark going into the season was how well was this makeshift pitching staff from the transfer portal going to all mesh together, and it's done really right. Well. Matt Scott being like a long reliever who was a starter at Stanford, and then Aoki kind of the same position right now.
Yeah,
Georgia. If Georgia could make this a 2-game series, they're throwing 4 pitches or 4 pitchers. It's going to be Voltzko and Aoki, Matt Scott, and Dylan Viggie.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot to say about just like how good they've been all season to be able to do that.
Georgia Bulldog fans, go on to DraftKings. Go bet Georgia to win the NCAA baseball. And then while you're there, a little pizza and beer money, throw in a parlay with the Georgia Bulldogs, and you'll have yourself a Bulldog of a time if Georgia does win this. You got a big ticket there. I'm not saying that, Kirby and the boys will win the SEC this year, never mind the national title. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. The last two, West Virginia minus 450 against Cal Poly, plus 300. And Kansas minus 170, Oklahoma plus 135. Just reading through the tea leaves in the market. Listen, I watched the Oklahoma come back against Georgia Tech. They can score with the best of them. That number on Kansas looks high to me. It's high for a reason in my eyes. They want Oklahoma money there. And again, I'm not getting in front of West Virginia. I did it once. Shame on me. I'm actually buying a little West Virginia plus 1,000. Hopefully they get to Omaha, and then I can have some fun with that. Matt?
Yeah, I'll start in Lawrence. They're adding more seats than they had last weekend. They're really trying to get that crowd rambunctious, and I think it's Georgia Tech. They were so good, and Oklahoma kind of played out of their mind. I don't know if they carry that momentum over. It's all going to be on their pitching staff. If they can get a game 1 win with Rager on the mound, it's going to put them in a great position, but I don't know. There's something magical about this Kansas team right now. Their pitchers are all like 4 or 5 ERA guys, and they pitch lights out against Arkansas. Oklahoma has the same kind of problems Arkansas does at times where their bats can go cold. So while, they swung it with Georgia Tech, I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas comes out of this.
Q?
Yeah, I agree. West Virginia, I'll just breeze through that. I think we're taking country roads to the Midwest. And then I don't want any part of the Oklahoma-Kansas series. I just don't know what team's going to show up, like Matt said, with the pitching staff. If Oklahoma shows up pitching-wise, they could certainly win. You could also make the case that, Kansas is one of those teams of destiny that's going to make it, the magical run. I just don't have a feel for it, so it's a stay away. And then I'll tell you right now, I have a West Virginia game 1, Texas game 1 parlay. It was minus 112 as of this morning. Really like that. I don't think Texas. I know Matt's a little higher on the Oregon team, but I think for parlay-wise game 1, I like Texas to handle business. So parlay those two.
Yeah, and for me, Oregon, they pitched really well over the weekend. Their pitching has been solid. Their offense is one of the better offenses in the Big Ten. And Texas has a problem with falling asleep offensively, as good as their rotation is. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than people think. I think Oregon plus 240 is worth a look.
I had Oregon advancing. I thought the world was at the Oregon State bracket. Am I correct? Yeah. Oregon did me well there. I did have the Ole Miss plus 170. Again, no more crying in baseball. Won't talk about those other two tickets. Before we get to the close here, next week, the games, you guys are going to be heading to Omaha. When you guys land?
I'm probably going to get in Wednesday night, still TBD. I think Q's coming in Thursday. The more I sit here and look at this, I think we'd get a Big Ten team in Omaha. So who would you say, Q? Oregon or USC? Which one are you taking?
I know who I'm taking.
If I came to you from the future and said there is a Big Ten team in Omaha,
I think
Oregon.
Yeah.
Just reading the numbers and the tea leaves, guys, I would venture to say it would be USC. They're going to shock you. Just go back to last year, what happened to UNC, and history repeats itself. I thought we talked last week, USC was dangerous, and now here comes UNC. We're not going to let it happen 2 years in a row, and here comes the West Coast team, not called UCLA. It's called USC.
You're certainly onto something. I can't argue it. That's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, as good as A&M had been offensively, that pitching staff, I mean, my biggest knock with USC was they came into that 1-11 in quad one wins. Like now they're 3-11, but they've turned it on, and they turned it on against a pretty good SEC school. Who's to say that they can't do it again?
Well, we're hoping we'll figure out. Last year we did some live shots out there in Omaha. But again, I want you guys to enjoy the experience again. I know you'll be there every year. If we can, we'd love to get a live shot in there. Jello shots, chicken tender reviews, all that good stuff there. I couldn't be happier and prouder of you guys, what you've done. I all weekend had the laptop. 3 screens. I got your website up, following the scores to the second. Matt, take a hat off, take a bow. Absolutely fascinating.
Well, thank you very much. A lot of time, a lot of money spent on it, but well worth it. It's been an awesome tool. I stay on it 24/7.
Scroll is going the whole time. Everyone knows Q Millie. That's 3 L's, 2 I's. And, of course, M. Grissom at the Insiders here. But, Matt, Q, wrap it up. Where can they find all your work, the website, yada, yada, yada?
collegebaseballinsiders.com. There's still time to get the postseason guides. Right now, I think it's still $25. You still get the Super Regional and the College World Series. They get more intimate as we get closer and less teams. It's all live updated information that Matt's been able to figure out how to do. It's been incredible. So he mentioned earlier in the show, if a team wins, that kind of shocks the world or flips the script, as they like to say, or our site's going to show it, whereas a magazine's not going to have that information live up to date. So credit to Matt on that. You can find all of our premium analysis and insights is there as well. So collegebaseballinsiders.com.
Yeah, we just dropped the price to $20, get you through the Super Regionals and College World Series. And if you looked at it last week, whenever a lot of the 4s were beating the 1 seeds, it wasn't UCLA that had the best odds, despite what DraftKings said. It still had Auburn as the best 1 seed to still make it out of the losers bracket. You could have gotten them plus 200 right there. It's added value. You throw $10 on it, you've paid for the service, or $15. But yeah, it's a little bit to throw into the kitty for us to go broadcast and be there in Omaha. So if you haven't signed up yet, please go sign up. A lot of good information in there.
Go follow the boys at M. Grissom, at Q Millie, of course, at the Insiders. An amazing day here at ECSI. Start the morning off with good friend of you guys is Sean Alvarez, Mr. Smooth Turn 2, as he broke down the Belmont. We came right back with some MLB matinee, Thirsty Thursday action, and, of course, the NCAA Insiders to close it out. Tomorrow, I will be on Wager Talk TV with Andrew McGinnis at 10. and sometime 2 or 3 o'clock with Scotty Webb for the Friday night MLB lights. Again, a shout out to Wager Talk, shout out to Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, and of course our newest sponsor, wagerbird.com. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, Mr. Matt Grissom, Mr. Q Millie. Let's enjoy the Super Regionals and get ready for Omaha, and stay tuned.